Hello, this is my third time trying to make this video because the other two times I put equations up there that wouldn't give us pretty answers. And you know I always want to put the prettiest answers for you guys. What we're doing today in this video is that we are going to find an equation of a line using 2 points. We already know how to find an equation of a line using a graph, but now we want to do it using 2 points. So let's get that going. So I'm going to erase this, get back to a normal screen. Now, when I say an equation of a line using 2 points, first off, don't we need to know what those 2 points are? I think so. And I should have just used the ones I wrote down earlier, and I will. -2, 5, right? Yes, and 10, 11. Now, if they give you 2 points, and we're trying to find slope-intercept form, because that's the easiest way to determine where a graph starts and where it's going, what equation do we got to write again? Our slope-intercept form, right? Y equals mx plus b. Knowing 2 points, can we find slope or can we find the intercept? Just by knowing the 2 points right off the bat. Well, isn't slope just the relationship between 2 points on how far you're moving in y in relation to x? So why don't we write that? I'm just going to write my slope equation, my very basic one, and I'm going to move on from there. I know this is my x1, this is my x2, this is my y1, this is my y2, and let's plug that stuff into the equation. I'm going to do 11 minus 5 on top. I'm going to do 10 minus -2 on bottom. And let's solve that. 11 minus 5 is 6. 10 minus -2 is the same as 10 plus 2, which gets us 12. We should all know that part. And then can we simplify 6 over 12? We sure can. We can divide the top and bottom by 6. And we get 1 over 2. That is my slope. That's a really good slope too, if I'm being honest. So why don't we plug that right back into that equation? So I'm going to say y equals 1/2 x plus b. Now, with this, is I have 3 different variables in this question, right? We started with 4. We found out what m was. But now I have a y equals 1/2 x plus b. Don't we know an x and a y that's going to work on this line? I think so. We got 2 sets of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these 2 sets and I'm going to plug them in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a space for y equals 1/2, leave a space for x, and then we're trying to find b, so we can leave b there. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this point right here, and I'm going to plug it in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in my x. What's my x in this case? -2. And what's my y in this case? 5. Now, all I have is one variable left. Now, all I got to do is use a little bit of algebra to solve this. So, I'm going to equate this. What is 1/2 times -2? Well, 1/2 of 2 is 1, and they keep it negative. And I'm going to drop down the other side. And now, this is a one-step equation, ain't it? How do we get b by itself? Why don't we add 1 to both sides of the equation? Add 1 to both sides of the equation. So this right here gets me 6 equals b. I really got to stop making 6 equal to b because they look like the same letter. Now, I'm going to put this right back into my equation that I know is true. So my new equation is y equals 1/2 x plus whatever my b was, which is 6. And that's my final answer. And it's going to work out for another example just like this. So let's find another one. I like that one. Cool, cool, cool. Let me erase this and let's get back into it. Okay? Erase. My 2 points are going to be 10, 2 and 5, -1. Now, when I do this, I'm going to plug it into my slope equation. If they give you 2 points, you can always find slope. So I'm going to plug in 2 minus -1, because those are my y's. And it doesn't really matter which way I order them as long as I'm consistent. And I'm going to plug in my x's. And I'm going to get an answer. 2 minus -1 is the same as 2 plus 1. So I get 3. 10 minus 5 is 5. That's my slope. So my new equation from what I know is y equals my slope x plus b. Now, I got to find b. Now there's two different points you can plug in. I'm going to plug in both points and see which one, if they both get me the same answer. They will, by the way, but let's just see. So on this side, I'm going to leave a space for x. I'm going to leave space for y equals 3/5 x plus b. Same thing here, leave a space. Now over on this one, I'm going to plug in this point. What's my x? 10. What's my y? 2. On this side, what's my x? 5. What's my y? -1. And let me erase those lines right underneath. Okay? Now, I'm going to solve the left problem and then the right problem. When I solve this left problem, I got to equate this right here. 3/5 of 10 is going to be 6 if you plug in a calculator or use your noggins, either way. Plus b. And I'll drop down this 2. And how do I get this b by itself? I'm going to subtract 6, those cancel. So what do I get b to equal? -4 equals b. So my new equation here is y equals my slope, x minus 4. Let's get that in bed. Boom. That's my equation. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing on this side and see if it gets me the same answer. This right here gets me 3. And then how do I get rid of positive 3? Subtract it. So I get -4 equals b, just like I did before. So if I wrote this equation using my blue point being this guy, my new equation would be y equals 3/5 x minus 4. They are the exact same answer. So I'm going to put one on the board for you guys, see if you get the right answer, and we will be done. Let's just erase this. And let's do, here's your point. Let's see if I can make a good one. Let's do 4, 8, 12, 'That's why you don't always do this in your head. I'm just so silly. 2, there it is. 2, 6, there it is. And then we'll make the top 10. I like it. Let's solve this. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write my slope equation. 10 minus 12, 6 minus 2. I'm going to get -2 over 4, which is the same as -1/2. There's my slope. Y equals -1/2 x plus b. But I know what x and y is, right? So instead of writing y, let me write 12. Instead of writing x, let me write 2. Right? So I will get 12 equals -1 plus b, or 13 equals b. If you solved it on your own, you should have got that. Just kind of speed ran that. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and see you later.